Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and today I want to talk to you about dealing with legitimate overwhelm, with being overwhelmed as a successful person, an entrepreneur, somebody who's striving for betterment in their lives. There's a lot of talk about people being overwhelmed with modern life, and the reality is a lot of that is just excuse making for people who are underperforming. Well, I'm overwhelmed, and the reality is they haven't even put forth the legitimate effort. So I'm not talking about that kind of stuff, where there's people out there just making excuses for their underperformance, for their failure, for their lack of achievement. I want to specifically talk about people who are doing their best. They're legitimately putting forth their best effort, and they feel overwhelmed. Now, especially as entrepreneurs, it's very difficult. And if you're then you have to be an entrepreneur, but if you're any kind of success-minded person, it can be hard to admit this to yourself. And I have to be very clear, I'm not trying to get you to focus on the negative. I'm trying to get you to recognize an issue so you can deal with it. You don't need to spend any more time than just recognizing, oh wait, I am overwhelmed, so you can start dealing with it. That's it. You don't have to focus on it at all. But you can't find a solution to something you don't even know exists. But as a person who's success-minded, whether you're an entrepreneur or an employee or whatever it may be, it can be hard to admit that you're overwhelmed because you are producing and performing at such a high level, so far above the average person, that it doesn't look like you're overwhelmed at all. It looks like you're just achieving and achieving and achieving. But there are some telltale signs that could indicate that maybe there's some little bit of overwhelm going on there. It could be from being disorganized, from having stuff everywhere. Maybe your desk is a mess. Maybe just little things that indicate that everything is not in tip-top shape. It could be feeling like you're not getting enough done, even though you're performing at ultra high levels. There are a number of signs indicating this, but I think this is something where you just sit back and just seek God's wisdom on this. He'll give you wisdom if you ask, and then you can go from there. Because as a high-performing person, a success-minded person, you have so many indications of high performance that the average person who's claiming to be overwhelmed doesn't have, because they're just not achieving. And so it can be a little misleading, because maybe you could be achieving even more, or maybe you could be achieving the same amount with less actual effort going into it. One of the things to recognize, though, is make sure that you're delegating enough stuff. One of the biggest things that causes people to be overwhelmed is that they're taking on too much on their own backs. They're creating a new burden for themselves when there are plenty of other people to take up some of that burden. You know, if you have your own business and you're successful, what are you doing creating your own logo for your company when you can hire someone to do it? Now, maybe you're good at it, but there's someone that you could hire that would do it even better, and that's one less thing for you to have to be focused on. You could focus on the things that actually is bringing in more income. The logo's not doing that. Logo can be beneficial, but it's not going to make you more money unless your current logo is just terrible and somehow would discourage somebody from buying your product or service. But delegating is very important. You have to make sure that you can let go some of the responsibility, let other people take up that responsibility in those areas so you don't get yourself overwhelmed. Another thing is that you are doing things the most efficient way possible. You know, I use this example a lot, but a person could go work hard and dig a ditch and use a shovel and dig by hand and take days and days and days to do it. Or they could rent a backhoe and do it in a few hours. Maybe do it in minutes even, depending on how big of a ditch they need to dig. So don't confuse hard work with being the goal. If you can do something very quickly and efficiently, why wouldn't you? Why would you just work hard just to work hard? And I'm not telling you that, work smarter, not harder, because you should be working hard and smart, but not inefficiently and completely uselessly working hard. The hard work should be because it's something you want to do and you're doing everything as efficiently as possible. There are people bogged down in the minutiae of their business. They haven't delegated things, and the things they are doing, they're doing it as inefficiently as possible. because they pat themselves on the back for being hard workers, and that's good, but it's not good when you're doing things inefficiently and unintelligently. That's a huge one. Taking too much on, not delegating it, and then not even doing it as efficiently as possible. So really look and examine yourself and see what's going on in your life. Is there things in your business right here and now that you are actively a part of that you could delegate to someone else? Now, you have to understand, if you're a high-performing person, you may have to delegate it to a number of people because you're performing at such a high level. It may take 5 or 6 people to take up what you're doing right now and to free up your time to focus on things that are more profitable and that will bring you in more money. You don't need to be doing the minutia. You don't need to be involved in the little tiny things that someone else could easily do and be happy to do and then sometimes perform better than you. You may be doing very well, but somebody else can come in and do it. Take that burden off of your plate so it frees up more time for you to invest in other areas, and they might actually do better than you because they have that one singular focus, where you have all these other focuses in your business to keep everything up and running and to keep everything performing at a high level, that you maybe can't dedicate as much time and focus on that particular area that you could delegate to somebody else. And because you haven't been able to really focus as much as you should, if that was your only objective, maybe you're not doing things as efficiently as possible. Where you bring someone in to take over that one particular area, they might find a number of ways to make it better, make it run more efficiently, make things perform better that you weren't doing yourself. Not because you weren't working hard, but because you weren't working as efficiently as possible, because you couldn't get focused on that one particular aspect of your business because you had so many other things to focus on. And I want to reiterate here, this is not to get you to focus on negative things, to focus on being overwhelmed. It's just hopefully if you recognize some areas like this that I'm talking about that you're dealing with, you can recognize the issue and now solve it. Don't spend another second focus. If you've said, you know what, I think that may describe me. I think I may be a little overwhelmed in some areas. That's all you have to do. Now focus on the positive. How am I going to remedy this? How am I going to resolve this? What am I going to do today to delegate some of these other areas of my business to other people or of my work to other people? This is a thing important too. If you work for somebody else, it doesn't mean you couldn't delegate some of your job requirements onto other people. Other people might want to do it. Maybe you could do something that they don't want to do, but you can do it at a very high level and very quickly, and they'll take up something that maybe you're not the best at, but they're very good at and they would want to do. There's absolutely opportunities for delegation, even if you work for somebody else and it's not your company, your business that you're running. There's also, if you work for somebody else, there are things that you can hire, presuming your company, you don't have non-compete and things like that where you can't disclose certain aspects of your job. You could hire people to perform certain aspects of your own job. So people external to the company, you could just hire them to perform some of those job requirements. So you don't have to do them anymore. You're still getting paid for the work that's getting done because you are getting it done. You've just delegated part of it to somebody else. There's always aspects and things you can do to improve your performance while lessening the burden you have and increasing your efficiency. Make sure you understand today that you don't have to be doing everything on your own. God's given you many blessings in life, and one of them is other people. And that we work as a business. A business is not just one person. It may be if you're brand new and you just got off the ground, but it becomes like an entity of its own, an organism, so to speak, where there are people performing certain aspects, certain parts. Everybody's working together for the fullness and the best expression of that business. And in the end, obviously, and financially at least, making more profit, being more profitable for your customer, producing the best product or service that at the best price that you can, that gets them the most value. These are all important things. And so if you're overwhelmed and your focus is scattered and you can't be really narrowly focused on the important things of your business, it will hinder that profit. It will hinder getting the best product to the customer, getting the best service to the customer. So it's very important to recognize this and then move forward in producing the best results. Getting the things delegated you need to get delegated, getting the things done more efficiently if possible, getting the best results. Working harder and smarter to produce the best product or service for your customer and get the best profitable results that you can. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.